Hi, everyone. Once again, welcome. I really appreciate all of you who have taken time out to attend this session because I really appreciate those people who are committed towards their career progress. It's always pleasure to be sharing the knowledge and information that I have experienced, gathered through my life with all those of you who are really committed to your career progress. So with that saying, without further delay, let's start jump into our today's session. Let me share my screen. Hi, everyone. Just briefly, I just wanted to take you through my mission and why I'm doing what I'm doing before we start jumping into our today's topic. So, my mission in life as I pivoted my career into coaching is to contribute to individual career to help the leaders actually grow and identify and remove the obstacles that are coming in the path of their success. So that's the only objective that I have, is to help leaders identify and remove the obstacles which are coming in the path of their career success. With this objective, I have pivoted my career into coaching. This is my bio, and if you go to my LinkedIn profile, etc., you're going to see this. But what is not there that I would like to share over here is more about why I do what I do. So I started my career with a lot of passion as a retailer in back 96, 97. I grew over a period of time within the company, and I should say that I have a very, very successful career path. I grew very fast, but then I had my learnings during the path. And during my whole career process, I have seen quite some recession, couple of recessions, and out of which I think three of them I was personally involved in organizational restructurings and layoffs. And the last one is the one which has actually impacted me more personally, because I think as you keep maturing in the organization, your emotions also get involved with the organization. That's the time when I have realized that we join we join a company with passion to build a career with them. And then all of a sudden, there is a recession, there is an organizational restructuring that is happening within the company, and then there are a lot of layoffs which happen. So in 2016, when I pivoted my career into coaching, that was the only objective that I had in my mind, is that I want to help leaders navigate their career progress and the career success in such a way that they don't have to see layoffs ever in their career path. So I wanted to help leaders, as I said previously in my mission as well, to identify and remove those obstacles which are coming in your career path. But at the same time, how do you navigate these layoffs, organizational restructures in a very successful manner? So with that in mind, I started my career. I have been working with various companies and clients. And what I realized with the recent layoffs which are happening is that my impact is limited to only those companies and the people that I'm working with, but I'm not able to impact the larger audience. And in order to reach the larger audience, I have decided to take this social media route. And I'm confident and sure that you are going to like the information, the content that I'm sharing. And if you feel that this is not of use for you, but it can be of help to someone, please do not hesitate to share this information with other people who can benefit out of this. With By you sharing it, I'm confident that I will be able to reach my mission of reaching as many leaders as possible, helping them identify the obstacles and remove them in the career progress. At the same time, navigate through any of these layoffs, and they will not have to face the layoffs ever in their life. So, without further delay, let's get into our today's session, which is more about how to become successful. A success in 3 steps. It's basically more of a success series, what I would say. And the first and basic things of the success series is, how do you become actually unstoppable in your career? You can become unstoppable in your career by doing 3 simple things. One is that create a concise, precise goals that you want to achieve in your life. And when you have your goals which are set, how do you overcome those fears and obstacles that are coming as a challenges in path of your success? And then you need to have an accountability partner. Accountability partner is one of the secret sauces that, which nobody talks about it. So if you are able, through this session, I'm going to talk about the importance of each one of them and how can you have your goals in a concise manner, how can you overcome your fears, obstacles, and challenges, and how can you also identify an accountability partner. So I'm confident that by the end of our today's session, these are the 3 things that you will have as a takeaway. One is the secret of achieving any toughest of the goals. The second thing that you're going to learn is how to navigate through difficult obstacles, challenges in your path of success. The third thing that you're also going to learn is that secret ingredient, the secret sauce that most successful people use, and but that is rarely spoken about. Before we move forward, I would want you to now write down 3 intentions for this session that you have identified for yourself. The intentions as to what you would like to achieve by the end of this session. What if you have learned that will make you feel the session is a success for you? Think about what you want most personally and professionally to experience during our today's session. Thinking about these as to what you want to achieve, I would want you to please write down 3 intentions for yourself. And I'm confident that by the end of the session, you would have gained information, knowledge about the intentions that you have set for yourself. So let's start jumping into it with defining goals. Now, if you look at it, it clearly says that the goals are which can be successful, measurable, reliable, realistic, specific, understanding. So let's get into defining goals. But before we do setting goals, do you know how many people actually set their goals? It's like every year, 3% of people have actually written down their goals. They identify the goals, they set the goals. We all have goals in our mind, but we rarely write them down. It's only 3% of people who have written their goals down. Out of those 3% of people who have written, 8% of them go about achieving their goals. Now, if you look at that, it's just 0.24% of people who achieve their goals every year. Why do you think? Why do you think that this happens, that only 0.24% of people achieve their goals? The reason for that is either the goals are confused, either they are lost, they're unclear. It's like there is a lot of ambiguity around the goals, or people have set too many goals for themselves, or they have not specified the timelines within which they want to achieve it, or they do not have commitment towards that goal, or they have excuses as to why they cannot achieve this particular goal. There is no drive towards a goal, or there is no energy left in them to go about achieving the goals. And all these things happen more because either the goal is not compelling enough for them to go about achieving it. When the goal is not compelling enough, then there is no drive, there is no energy, there is no commitment, or else that the goal is someone else's goal. When you have someone else's goal, then it's not your goal. So there is no emotional connect towards it. There is no compulsion with you to go about achieving that goal. At the same time, there's no drive that you're going to have. The third thing is or you have too many goals. Too many goals is basically reducing your impact over any of the goals that you want to achieve. So you're juggling too many balls at the same time, which is going to make sure that your energy is spread over too many things and you're not able to focus or impact any of the goals the way that you wanted to impact and achieve. So if you want to achieve goals, any goal that you want to, the secret sauce behind that is you need to have a compelling goal, and the goal has to be, specified reduced number of goals so that you are going to have impact on them. So how do you have a compelling goal? You can have a compelling goal by articulating the goal in a very compelling manner. And how do you go about, this is very useful when it comes to your organizational goals, because there are many of them. And sometimes we do not get committed towards it more because it is more of an organizational goal and not your personal goal. And which is going to start impacting your deliverables, your energy towards the deliverables. So if you want to articulate even your organizational goals in a compelling manner for you, you have to answer these questions for yourself as to what specifically you want to achieve. Now, this is what the goal is, which organization, every organization has defined that, you need to go about achieving this. So I would want you to answer for yourself out of that bigger picture of the goal that the organization has set. What specifically do you want to go about achieving? And what is your measure of success? Now comes the most important aspect, important of the questions, which can help you make it more compelling is, why is achieving this goal important for you? This is a very difficult question, but I would want you to take time to write it down as to why achieving this goal is important for you. And what are you contributing to by achieving this goal? Now this is a big picture, bigger perspective, that what is it that your organization is going to solve, or what is the challenge in the market that your organization is solving? And by contributing or by achieving this goal, what are you contributing, or how are you contributing to that big picture? And the fifth question, which is, what do you believe you need to address or to resolve for you to achieve this goal? It might be you may have to resolve that the goal that the organization has set is not personally connecting to you. So I would want you to think of what is it, that part of the whole thing that can personally connect with your emotions, so that you are able to bring out that compulsion in you, the compelling purpose within you to go about achieving that goal. If you are able to answer these 5 questions, you will be able to articulate any goal for you, whether it is in your personal life or professional life. So I just wanted to share over here one more thing, because I am a coach. So what I did was I have incorporated the unique technique of coaching along with the information sharing techniques to create this content that will be delivered. So what you're going to find is a lot of exercises which are going to force you to think and customize the content that you are receiving to be specific to your needs, to your purpose. So please take out time to answer these questions so that you are able to create a compelling goal for yourself. Once you have created a compelling goal, it becomes a lot more easier for you to move forward achieving it. We'll go to the second challenge that you're going to face. But before that, the other thing is do not have too many goals. 3 is a magic number for you. Now, why there are only 3 little pigs? Why there are 3 wise men? Why there are 3 wishes when the genie comes? Why that number 3? Because the minute you have more than 3, your energy is diverse, it is digressed towards larger, too many events, and you are not able to contribute to anything. You're not able to focus yourself. It happens such that Robert Iger, when he took over as a CEO of Disney, Walt Disney, his coach asked him as to what do you plan on achieving for this year? As he started listing down the goals that he wanted to achieve, his coach told him that, if you are going to have more than 3 goals, you will not be able to impact the change that you are wanting to bring in this organization. So, so always remember, you should not have more than 3 goals if you want to have an impact. Now, organizations will have a lot of smaller objectives goals, but I would want you to take them, club them, and see what are the 3 buckets into which these goals would fit into. Because each those once you have a bigger goal and that goal you're making it compelling for yourself, achieving that becomes easier. Sometimes we call actionables as goals as well, but they are not goals. They are just actionables. Those are the activities that you will have to do in order to achieve something. So the achieving what you're going to achieve as an end result, that can be a goal, but this activity that you're doing is just an actionable. So if you're having too many goals, I would want you to take out time to see, because organizations want you to go about delivering, try to bucket them into 3 main big goals. And then you will be able to identify the priorities for the organization. And whatever fits into those priorities and things are not fitting within those 3 buckets, which are falling beyond the 3 buckets, that would become 4th or a 5th goal that, which now you have to think as to what of these 3 or what of these 5 or 6 buckets that I've seen, 3 are the most priority for the organization, which are the ones which will have greater impact on the organization, because that's where your energy should be. The other 2 buckets, you can do it later or you can delegate it to someone, but look at those 3 where you feel connected and where achieving those goals will have higher impact on the organization. Once you have your goals written down, those the previous slide I was talking about, it's like breaking them down into smaller chunks, into smaller tasks. These are actionables, you know, because all big goals are made up of series of small achievable tasks. And these small achievable tasks, once you chunk it down, sometimes even achieving the bigger goals becomes easier. When we do not chunk it down, when we look at only the bigger goal, sometimes you might feel overwhelmed. When you get overwhelmed, when you start seeing that, oh, this is a daunting mountain to climb, you start procrastinating, you don't even start doing things. So the best way to do it is chunk down your bigger goal into smaller tasks, smaller actionables, which will add up to the big goal. So if you look at it, even here, I've shared a 3x3 grid, which I can call as a 3x3 matrix. You have three goals. For each goal, create three actionables. If you can put it into more than three, it's well and good, because, but think of only three actionables that which can help you to move towards the task or the goal that you want to achieve. So you can split your bigger goal into three smaller goals, and from there you can take it actionables as actionables that you need to do every day in order to start moving the needle towards a bigger goal. And when you're chunking it down, you can always utilize the concept of SMART goal setting, which a lot of people talk about it. So it's available everywhere on the write-up, but you can always use. So we at IPEC, we call it as AIM SMART. So AIM is acceptable, ideal, in the middle goal. When it's the middle is a place where there is always a stretch. Acceptable is, what is it that acceptable for you to achieve? What is it that's ideal that you want to achieve? So the ideal is an extreme that, okay, if I achieve that, that's good. But acceptable is the other extreme, saying, oh, I'll be happy if I do only this much. But then there is middle. The middle is where there is a stretch. The stretch from your acceptable towards the ideal, there is a middle path, which is a stretch. So when you start dividing your goal into smaller tasks, start looking at what is it that you will be happy to achieve, which is easy for you to go about achieving, and what is it that ideal for the organization or for you, it's an ideal that you achieve that. Then think of the middle path where the stretch is, and start stretching yourself to achieve those middle things. And once you have identified that middle goal, then you can start putting them as to specifics, what exactly, what actually that you want to achieve. Measurables. Now, this is one of the most important as to how will you measure that it as a successful? How will you measure what you are doing is a success? Every action needs to have a measure on basis of what it's being measured as a success. Achievable, is it possible at all to achieve it? Yes or no? If you don't think it's possible, create something new that you feel is possible. Chunk it down. Again, once you feel it's not achievable, don't just leave it. So take it, chunk it down, and make it into smaller pieces so that those tasks become easier to achieve. And reasonable is, how reasonable is it for you to achieve it at this particular point of time? What is the current reality? It can be to do with time, money, resources that you have at hand, or your commitment towards it. How reasonable is it? So what is the reasonable part of the goal that you can achieve? Time orientation is to by when you want to accomplish this goal. So whenever there is the question of reasonable, achievable, saying that, I do not have resources, I do not have money, I do not have knowledge, wherever you start having the questions based on, the achievability part of it and reasonable, always ask yourself this question as, what are all the ways that someone can solve this problem? For any challenge, always ask, if you are not able to put down actionables for any of the goals that you want to achieve, ask yourself this question, what are all the ways that someone can solve this problem? Because by asking this question, what happens is you are creating clarity in your mind. If you do not ask this question, and if you do not clear clarity, what you are actually doing is the negative state of mind where you are sympathizing with yourself, saying, well, I'm not able to do it because I do not have this. So to avoid that sympathy, you need to bring clarity into what you're trying to achieve. And for that, you have to ask this question and answer it. Once this is done, and once your goal is articulated in a way that is compelling, there are not too many of them, it is easily chunked down into smaller pieces. into actionables, it becomes a lot more easy to go about taking the action. But then comes the second challenge, which is the obstacles. Now, these are the fears, these are the beliefs, these are the roadblocks that we are going to face. The beliefs are those which are actually limiting your energy, which are restricting your energy that you are expressing towards the goals that you want to achieve. Once you have a limiting belief, for example, one of the limiting belief is if I want to be successful, I need to spend 10,000 hours. Now, 10,000 hours doing same job regularly. Now, is it your belief? How true is it? So if you want to know for your goal, what kind of limiting beliefs, fears, and roadblocks that you are facing or you would face, I would want you to answer this question for yourself. Think of your goal and reflect on what is holding you back from achieving your goal. And then answer this question. What I believe about my goal is, write down whatever comes to your mind. I want this, but, or I can't do this because. Notice what comes up. Notice what beliefs are coming in your mind which are restricting you from going ahead achieving your goal. Once you have identified the beliefs, now let's go about addressing them. So if you look at it, now these are all, not these are all of them, but these are some of them, and there can be a lot more of these limiting beliefs that can be crossing your mind. So if you look at it, the limiting beliefs can be like, I'm not good enough, I'm just not lucky, I don't know where to start, I don't have the right skill set, I am not smart enough, I can't do it, I will never change, what if they don't like me? There can be any of these beliefs that are coming in your way of you going and achieving your goal. I want you to write down the belief that is coming in your path. For example, let's look at it. If you look at all these limiting beliefs, okay, there is one common factor in all these things. So let's take an example of, I hate public speaking. Now, public speaking is an activity, is an event. And the minute I use the word I hate, I'm bringing myself into it. The minute I add that angle of me into it, there is that emotions which keep getting towards it. Then there is my judgment towards it. There is my prejudice which overwhelms that activity. So when all these emotions come over that activity of public speaking, it becomes an overdaunting, overwhelming belief that I hate it, I cannot do it, or I screwed up, or I will screw up when I go on stage, because these are all the perceptions of my emotional energy that I'm giving towards that activity. So once you look at it and separate, if you are able to differentiate these two things of taking the activity and your emotions aside, if you remove yourself from the equation and just look at the activity, then you will be able to go about achieving it. Achieving it becomes a lot more easier. So let's look at, how do you shift those limiting beliefs into an empowering ones? Step one. Now, these are all the questions, again, I would want you to answer, write them down, because whose beliefs are these? Where did you get the idea from? 10,000 hours is one idea. Public speaking, I hate public speaking. Now, it can be my own idea. I will talk about how to convert these limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs in the next slide, but write them down. Whose beliefs are these? Where are they coming from? Is it because of my own past experiences, Or is it because of someone else's experiences? Someone has told me, somewhere I read about it. How true or justified these beliefs for me are. If it is my own belief, which is from my past experience, yes, it is true for me because I had this experience in the past. But if it is someone else's, how true is it in your situation? How justified is it for you? The third question is, how is this belief serving you? Is this serving a purpose for you? Is this belief protecting you from something? What is the purpose that this belief is serving for you? And is that purpose needed in this particular event? How are these beliefs affecting you? What are the negative or unwanted consequences you are experiencing because of this belief? Ask yourself what positive outcomes and transformation might you be able to experience if you are willing to let go of this limiting belief. Friends, these look like smaller, simple questions, but I would want you to take time, think through, and answer these if you want to shift any of your daunting, limiting beliefs which are restricting you from achieving your goal. Now, start weakening this limiting beliefs. Come up with the evidence that this belief is not true. Or think of periods where you went contrary to this belief and gone ahead achieving something. Or let's come back to the same question of, I hate public speaking. I hate public speaking more because when I go on stage, I I was, the audience is looking into my eyes, or I'm worried as to how people are going to perceive me, or it can be whatever the reasons. Or you might feel that I did not do a great job last time. So that's the reason why people did not enjoy my previous speaking on the stage. Once you have identified that, now think of how different is this situation from that situation. Number one, what have you learned from your past experience? If you have not learned anything and if you want to repeat things in the same manner, then I think you have a challenge over there. But if you start writing down as to what have you learned from that situation and what is it that you're going to do differently this time, that is going to help you achieving in weakening the limiting beliefs that you have. And once you start thinking about weakening it and thinking about the success stories that you have created, the areas where you went ahead doing things clearly in contrary to the thought that is running in your mind, think of that success period and think of what all thoughts that crossed your mind. What all thoughts that crossed your mind that helped you to make that a success in the past. It need not be related to public speaking, but it might be to do with going and playing games or being a public sports person. How different is it? What thoughts are crossing in your mind when you're doing that? And what thoughts are crossing your mind when you're doing public speaking? Think of the thoughts. Now, when you're being successful, what feelings are you experiencing in your body? The feelings are something that you're experiencing in your body. When you're playing sport, which is also in front of public, but what are you feeling in your stomach, in your hands? What are you feeling in your heart? These thoughts and feelings, please write them down. So, in order to achieve your dream, what should be your new empowering thought, belief, and an opportunity? I want you to think of that new belief and start using those powerful words like I am and create that new belief for yourself. Now I'm wanting you to add again, the perception of your beliefs to it, your personal emotions to it, saying, I am, sorry, not beliefs, your personal emotion towards it. I am resourceful. I am fearless. I'm so happy and grateful. Whatever that is, add these powerful words to it and state it in positive manner and keep it brief. I'm fearless. When I'm going and playing a game in front of public, I'm fearless. So when I'm standing in front of public and speaking, why should I be scared of? So think of those things where you went ahead and still achieved things. So think of that I'm fearless. Come up with the evidence that your belief is possible. Now come up with evidence that your new belief is possible. What strengths, skills, and past accomplishments or experiences do I have that support this? And who else has already achieved this? Because success always leaves clues. So identify the people who have always achieved it and see how you can go about achieving it. This is a state quotation by Richard Branson, who says business opportunities are like buses. There is always another one coming around. It's just a perspective, but somehow think of us as person, whatever reason it is. Suppose if we miss a meeting, if we miss a deal, we start beating up ourselves. Because for us, when we look at it as an individual isolated moment, yes, maybe in that moment we have 100% missed an opportunity. But then if you look at it in a bigger perspective, with the holistic picture of it, there are a lot more opportunities. Maybe we dodged a bullet, maybe this, and what is it that you learned from it? So the opportunities are like buses. It's just like changing your perspective towards it. It's like instead of beating you up, think of it like, okay, opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming around. And once you change your perspective towards the positive one, it has got a unique way of weakening the thoughts or the beliefs that are limiting your energy or limiting your process, your progress. Once you've identified that, once you have weakened them, how do you face the fears? The best way to face the fears is now start gathering information. As I was telling, that the success always leaves clues. Ask the same question again. What are all the ways someone can solve the problem? Who are all the people who have solved this problem in the past? Gather all the information that you can towards achieving that goal. And then you start planning it, planning by chunking it into smaller actionable activities and go about take action. So, because what is the fear? Fear is something when you are trying to face something which is unknown. All of a sudden, something happens which you are not prepared for. We panic. That becomes a fear. How do you change your perspective in the face of that fear? Is by gaining, one is removing yourself. Stop judging that event as an emotional thing by involving yourself into it. Make that activity more as an objective, as far as possible, make it an objective event. I'm using this word event specifically. Do not look at that whole event as something that has bad happened to you. Take yourself, your emotions out of it and look at the event. When you look at the event, again, we can come back to the event of public speaking. If I look at the event of public speaking, now I can think of all the people who are great public speakers, understand what is it that they do that I do not do. How do they come across? What is the kind of body language that they bring out? I can start gathering all the information about that public speaking, that fear of going on stage. And then I can start planning by chunking it down into smaller pieces. What are the things that I need to prepare? What are the things that I need to work upon? And then start taking action towards them. That is the only way you will be able to face your fears. Facing fears is like changing your perspective towards them. Because when you think, whenever something sudden happens, are we are in panic situation, or when we are trying to do something unknown to us, there is that fear factor. When you're trying to go and meet a person whom you don't know, there is that fear factor in you saying, I don't know how this meeting is going to happen. I'm scared to go and meet people. Now, the only way you can overcome this is by familiarizing yourself with that unknown thing. And you can familiarize yourself with that by gathering information. When you're trying to go meet a person, gather information about that person. What does he do? Is there someone that we know common? Is there someone that uh, is there activities that he enjoys that even I also enjoy doing? Gather information and then start planning as to how you're going to face a meeting and what you need to prepare for it. Similarly, the roadblocks, these are external challenges. These are something which are outside of you, which can be financial, qualifications, network, etc. But even in this case of these roadblocks also, I say always ask this question of what are all the ways that someone can solve this problem? How did others solve it? There is always clues in the success of others that they've achieved. Now, these are all the ways that you can identify and eliminate the roadblocks, your fears, your limiting beliefs, and the way you set your goal. Now, this is all the thing that I have spoken in context with organizational goals, but those activities can also be implemented for your personal goals as well. But when you want to achieve your personal goals, I would like you to do this pre-visioning exercise. Like, what is it that you want to achieve? What will you see when you achieve your goal? What will you hear when you achieve your goal? What will you feel when you achieve your goal? What will you say to yourself when you achieve your goal? What are all the resources you had to mobilize to achieve the goal? How much money you had to save and raise to achieve this? What new skills have you needed to learn? So this pre-visioning exercise is basically sit down, close your eyes, and think that you have already achieved this goal. And then start answering these questions. Once you have answered all these questions, based on what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're hearing, start consolidating those images and bring them all together so that you can have a guided imagery. You can sit in front and keep looking at it as, okay, when I achieve it, this is how people are going to talk about me. When I achieve it, this is what the feeling that I'm having. This is how I'm living. These are all the imagery that you're going to create. And once you answer these questions after that, you can use this formula to articulate your goal. This is more for personal goals, that it is a future date when you already achieved that goal. I have achieved the desired outcome and I feel the positive emotions that you're feeling. Use these three prompts and articulate your goal. This is going to make it the most compelling goal. Once you have compelling goal, when you've identified, chunked it down into achievable tasks, once you have identified the limiting beliefs and the fears that are going to come in your path to achieving this goal, you have identified, you have written down everything. Now I want you to identify, now this is the most important, this is a secret sauce most successful people have always used, and it is rarely spoken about. We have seen this in maybe in sports area. Always have an accountability partner. In sports, the coach's role is to be accountable for the individual players to go about and deliver on his accountabilities. In your case, I would want you to identify an accountability partner. And then this accountability partner is a person who can, who is upfront with you, who is not scared, who does not have pretense in front of you, who can call a spade in front of you, and who can hold you accountable. This person cares for you, but this person believes in your potential. And this person does not get carried away by the excuses that you're giving. Identify a person who can say that, okay, now you're giving an excuse, and hold you accountable. So identify this person, share your goals, share your daily activities checklists, share your actionables, and ask that person to hold you accountable. Try to have a 5-minute meeting with this person, maybe if with someone at home every day, otherwise every week, and discuss your progress on your accountabilities. Discuss your progress on the goals that you have set for yourself. Discuss your progress on the actionables that you're supposed to do and that which you have achieved, things that you have not achieved, and what exactly is holding back. And let this person also know those fears that you have written down so that this person can say, is this a fear which is holding you back? Is this a limiting belief that's holding you back? Let this accountability partner know everything that you have done as an exercise till now, and let this person hold you accountable for going about achieving this. So, most rich people, as I said, have always had this. They call it as mastermind groups or kitchen cabinets. They do these things because they have accountability partners who are holding them accountable to go about achieving things that they want to achieve. So the 3 secret ingredients are: 1, articulating your goal in the most compelling manner. The second one is identifying the obstacles, weakening the obstacles, and coming up with a proof that which is contrary to the beliefs that you're holding. The third secret is having an accountability partner. These 3 things, if you incorporate into your life, you will become unstoppable. Unstoppable. Achieving anything can become easier. Most people do not even write down their goals, forget articulating them in a compelling manner. So please take out time to write down your goals in the most compelling manner. Answer the question of what is coming in your way that can become an obstacle in your path, and then identify an accountability partner who can hold you accountable. Well, you got this. And if any one of you want to work with me, or you have any doubts, or you have any questions on the content that is being shared, please do not hesitate to write an email to me. My email ID is ram@first108days.com. I'm sorry, this is first108days.com. And my website is www.businessinc.com. I will be sharing this with you. And thank you so much for taking out time, coming over here, and spending with me. Thank you.